Guys, I have been screaming it from the high heavens on Clear the Cash, on Twitter, all over the place, trying to continue to make a movement in the card game with my co-host, Jesse Bach. Obviously, again, follow him at planet_fatness. We've talked to ad nauseum about the fact that quarterbacks are the most valuable football card that you can buy. You can purchase the running backs, you can buy the wide receivers, you can get the tight ends, but the reality of the situation is no positional player is worth as much as the quarterback. That's absolutely validated through eBay purchases, through the history of evaluations, the longevity of the position, the association of success with a team is oftentimes always tethered to the quarterback. So they are the most valuable. It's why when you jump into a break for a team, whatever team drafted a quarterback that year highly, their team is the most expensive because that is the card to buy. So all offseason, or since teams have been eliminated from the playoffs or didn't make the playoffs, we've been talking about, hey, get your hands on Sam Darnold, get your hands on Jameis Winston, get your hands on all these other quarterbacks that are free agents or in motion or undervalued. Those are the guys that you want to buy. And because I like to believe that I eat at my own restaurant, I recently had a purchase on eBay, tried to get into a couple of eBay auctions, but just kept losing. Actually, myself and Jesse, we were hunting down some cards. There were some pairs of PSA 10s of this card. We continued losing time and time again because we live and die by the idea that we are going to set a value of what we're willing to spend for the card, and if it exceeds it, we're walking away. That's just how it goes. So do not overspend on cards unless it is an absolute rarity. Now, the card that I purchased is a great card. There's no doubt about it. But there are quite a few more like it. So there was no doubt about the fact that when the price got out of range, I was going to step away. So I finally received it. Super excited. Want to open this card, show you guys. I've changed the cameras up because some people have told me they want to get a better look at the card. So we're going to try to do that for you today. And I want to talk about this card and explain to you guys why I think the value is going to go up even higher on it, show you how rare it actually is, and then show you what you guys can do to do something similar depending on what your price range is. So let's open this guy up right now. I'm going to go ahead and change this camera angle up. Look at this, so spicy for you guys. Trying to come up with new things all the time. Delivered like normal. This is by far this is right at the top of the cards that I've purchased thus far. And just so we can stop beating around the bush here, this is absolutely one of the most exciting quarterbacks in the league currently. A player that on any given week can send his value skyrocketing, and we've seen it. I'm going to validate that here in a second when I show you guys some of the statistics after game performances. Get this out of here. So once again, thank God these things get wrapped professionally. Come on, baby. Boom. We're getting close. Getting close. Here we go. Let's unveil this sucker. Layers and layers galore here. Hold on. Here it comes. I'm unsheathing this thing. This is excitement for me because I haven't seen it either. I've not seen this card myself, so this is my first time seeing it. Oh, baby. Oh, dear Lord. If anybody at home or watching this while you're driving, I hope you're pulled over. Please don't. Please don't drive and watch these videos. Get too exciting. Hit a fire hydrant. I've hit a fire hydrant before. Not a good story. We'll talk about that another time. Boom. There it is. 2019 Panini Select. Kyler Murray. Silver. This thing is absolutely bananas. This was such a difficult card to get a hold of. May have slightly overspent because I think there's going to be a dip. But I know that the upside on it is so great. So like I said, try to avoid overspending on cards. But sometimes some of these cards are just, you just know that they're going to do so well long term that you really want to jump into them. So again, this right here, this is the, let's see if we can make this work here. This is the Kyler Murray 2019 rookie silver select. See if we can get some of that shimmer on it. There are very few of these cards circulating around in PSA 10 quality, so I was really excited to get this card. Purchased it in a best offer scenario. The guy had this card listed for $900. I offered him $650 because I'm going to lowball right off the bat, make him counter. Nobody's listing prices with buy it now offers for prices they're not willing to drop on. Everybody's listing high. So whatever somebody shows you, you can absolutely, send a offer less than that initially. You usually get 5 opportunities to send offers back to the dealer, the seller. They can counter back to you. So we countered back and forth, and I ended up spending $750 on this particular card. After taxes in the great state of Washington, this card ended up $811, which is not the cheapest card in the world. But this card is an absolutely stellar card. One of Kyler Murray's nicest cards, to be honest with you. And as we've talked about on the show, the print runs on the select cards are a lot less than the Prism cards. So right off the bat, even though this is not a serial numbered card, it has a lot less competition in the card market. So I'm going to set this down. I want to go through this with you guys and just kind of show you just exactly what it is that I'm talking about when I say that this card has a rarity to it, has an upside to it. So let's start with talking about Kyler Murray, looking at his production. Last year, we know that Kyler Murray, and this is playerprofiler.com for those of you that don't know, Kyler Murray dealt with shoulder problems at the end of 2020. We saw his production dip a little bit. I think that's why some of his prices fell off. But there was a point in time where Kyler Murray's value really, really hits an extreme high point. And we'll point that out here in a second. But you look at him last year, deep ball completion percentage in the top 20, clean pocket percentage, number 8 overall. This is a guy that threw 26 passing touchdowns, but at the same time, 11 rushing. So 37 total touchdowns for Kyler Murray in 2020. And this is a team that we expect to continue to take steps forward. And what makes Kyler so special is what he does with his legs. And in terms of the card market, it's always going to make him a weekly exciting player because of the big play ability that he brings to the table. Again, he had 11 rushing touchdowns. He had over 800 rushing yards, which is number 2 at the position. So on a game-to-game basis, in a market that is driven so much by hype, why would you not want to invest in a guy that can literally move the market from game to game? So I want to point out what happened. Go back to Kyler Murray. I highlighted some stuff right here. So you look at what happened with him around week 6. Kyler Murray at Dallas, 188 pass yards, 2 touchdowns. Then, of course, on the ground, 74 rush yards, another touchdown. A week later at Seattle, 3 passing touchdowns, 67 on the ground, a touchdown rushing. The next week, 3 passing touchdowns, 100 yards on the ground, a touchdown. And then 1 passing touchdown, 2 rushing touchdowns. So over the course of weeks 6 through 11, essentially Kyler Murray puts up amazing fantasy production as well as NFL production. We'll look at it right here. Here's week 6. So these are the games we're talking about. 1, 2, 3, 4, even the game before it. So look at this. He finishes no worse than the quarterback 5 every single game over this stretch. So card buyers, fantasy enthusiasts, everybody is getting more and more excited about Kyler Murray. There's a hype about Kyler Murray. Maybe he's in the MVP talk at this point just with what he's done to this point in the season. Then the injuries happen, then some production dips, then we see these kind of games right here where Kyler Murray finishes once in the top 5, then outside of the top 13 every other game throughout the rest of the year. So a different player than what we saw before. But let's go back and look at what happened to Kyler Murray after these 5 games right here take place. So we can go validate the dates on them. We're looking at a start of basically 10-19 of last year to right around 11-19 when it all kind of changes course. So we're going to go over here to the market movers chart. We can see when we start at about 10-19 roughly, we can see that Kyler Murray's purchases, and this is, you can see right here, it says 10-18 next to it. He was going for a price of about $722 per card for this select field level silver, 2019 rookie. And then we watch, he goes through this course of monster games, and we come out the other side on 11/19, the date that I was talking about. And right here, here's 11/17, boom, right back up to 12/5. So right here around 11/22, which is just after this massive 5-game run, Kyler Murray's card goes up to $901. We can ride this thing back to the preseason, though, because this is what validates everything. The hype on Kyler Murray going into this season just before his first game of the year, right in this range, Kyler Murray was pushing about $1,350, $1,400 for this same card. We expect this card to continue to climb further and further and further over time. But when you look at it present day, this card is selling about $850. $915 was the peak purchase. It shows here on the 24th. It's actually gone for higher than that, and I'll show you guys. So I bought it with a buy it now price of $750 with a ceiling of essentially twice that, but I believe it can go for more than that. So we can go here and look at some of the recent sales of the same card in PSA 10 quality. Again, this is just basically days after I purchased it, roughly about 2 weeks since my purchase. There it is, best offer accepted, $1,200. Another one, best offer accepted, $1,200. Some of these are different versions, PSA 9. You look at these PSA 10s, here's $1,000. That's $250 more than I bought it for. Again, this is after the playoffs have started. This is after his injury. This is after Arizona did essentially nothing at the end of the year. He had no production over the last 5-6 weeks for the most part. So there's nothing really working in his favor here. Again, what's going to work in his favor is when we hit this beginning of the season area when all the hype's coming out. Again, DeAndre Hopkins joined the team. There was some excitement there. But the expectation is that people are going to be very, very high on the Konami code Kyler Murray going into next year. So purchasing this card at $750 with a ceiling of $1,400 and more belief that this card will actually go beyond that price is something that I'm excited for, and that's why I invested so heavily into this card and was willing to spend the money. Of course, I wanted to purchase the PSA 10 version. Now, earlier in this conversation, I talked about the fact that the print runs on selects are way lower than Prisms. So the question is, then how many are they actually out there available in PSA 10 version? Let's take a look at that. Right here, this is card number 204, this particular select version. And you can see here that this is the silver Prism. So 322 PSA 10s in existence for Kyler Murray of this type of card. So it's actually a pretty rare level of consumer purchasing ability out there. There's not that many circulating. I mean, you think about some of these NBA players and their rookie cards. Guys like Luka Doncic has 10,000, 12,000 rookies out there. So this is a much lower availability card, and liquidity on it is hard to get. So it was a card I was excited to get. It's certainly the nicest card that I've purchased. It's a silver, which makes it even more valuable to people. So for those of you guys that are chasing quarterbacks, I'm pretty much all in at this point on Kyler Murray. Even at the price of $750, I think that's going to be a drop in the bucket when we enter the start of 2021 and this card starts pushing $1,400, $1,500, $1,600 pretty easily, and maybe higher than that when we actually get into the season.